Hello there and welcome to this tutorial on the structure of a C program. In this video, we'll explore the basic components that make up a C program and then discuss the importance of proper structuring. Let's dive in. Now on my screen here is basically the basic structure of a C program, right? So for the first section, we have what we call the header, right? Then this side is a prototype of the function. Then this is our main function. Then these here are function definitions, right? So this is just a basic structure of any structured or well-structured C program, all right? So if I run this program we have over here with this command, okay, so the name of the file is basic structure, right? So gcc basic structure, then -o. Okay, that's basic structure.c. And then I run, let me list first. So if I run my basic structure file, all it prints is what? Hello world. And that is all we need our program here to print for us. That is what prints hello world. But it all gets executed from here. All right. So we go through this one after the other. Then we know what all these sections do. All right. As I said earlier on, the structure of a C program consists of three components: the header files, the function prototype, and then the main functions. So let's go straight into the header files. Now this section here is what we call the header. All right. And we include the headers. So let me give you a typical example of a header. This here is my header I've created. All right, this is the name. And then what's the purpose? The header files, it facilitates programming by separating the declaration of functions. As we can see here, this here is a function, right? So it separates the declaration of functions and then data structures from their actual implementation. And what do they contain? The header file simply contains your function prototype, right? So this is a prototype of our function we have over here. And then it contains what? The type definition. So over here it's telling us that what? The function is a type of int. Then the function name. Then the parameters it takes as well. All right. Yeah. So for this header file I have over here, if I want to include it into my main, right? This, if we want to include it, all we do is something like this, right? So include my header, right? Now, apart from that, we can see this studio.header over here. So let's go back to our main file. This studio.head, studio.h. .h is simply the file extension for any header files in C, right? But this studio we see over here is a standard library header. So C has some basic standard library headers that help us in our programming. One typical one you would see in most programs is the studio.h, which is used to display output and input operations, right? Then we have one called the math.h, and as the name suggests, it's used for mathematical functions. Then we have string.h for string manipulations, right? So as we go on and on, we'll get to know more headers and then what they are really used for. But then if you would want to create your own header, then that's where you use what? The name of the header, then .h. And if you want to include it into your program, you just enclose it with this greater than symbol, or others might also prefer using the quotation mark. But then most people use this greater than symbols, right? So then, as I have said, the header will just provide the necessary information for the compiler to understand, right? And then properly process your code, right? So that's a bit you should know about the header. Then our next section is the function prototype, right? So this here again is a function prototype in a header file, right? And what are told as this function prototypes do. Before telling you what this function prototype does, there are two ways you can use them in C. So the first one we have over here, this is our function prototype, all right? And we have it in this file, right? Sometimes you can put them in the header files. So if you take a look at this and then this, they have something in common, right? And what do you think they have in common? You can look at it carefully and then let me know. So if you look at them very, very carefully, you realize that this over here, right, it provides the name of the function. So as you can see, the name of the function here is greet. And in this our header file, the name is also what? Add. And apart from the name of the function, it gives us the return type. So over here, the return type is what? Void. And the one we put in our header file, the return type is also int. Okay, so we have the name, the return type, and then the parameter list. So over here, we need no parameter. But in this, it tells us that what? Our parameter list is an int and then an int. So we need two integers for this function prototype, or for this function to work based on this prototype we have over here. Right, so our function prototypes can be put in our .c files, or you can also put them in your .h to include them in the header. That is where we need this include here. So if you put them in an external file, then you need to use our include and the name of your header. If you want them to appear in your main coding, then you just declare them over here. All right, so now we know what our header files do, and then we know our function prototype as well. Now our next one is the main. All right, so what then does the main function also do? So once again, what does the main function do? So you have to note that the main function is the main entry point of your C program, right? Every C program needs a main. So look at this simple one over here. Even though we have no prototypes, we have just our include, right? But then it has a main, but it is very, very, very important. And it is where the program execution begins and then ends. So inside the main function, we write the code that defines the program functionality. So for instance, this main like this is telling us that what? Print hello world, right? And this main also tells us that what? Greet. You see? So it will tell us what our main C program wants to do. And over here, this function has already been defined, right? The print is taken from this studio h, stdio.h. But then if we come here, our greet is our own function we defined. We'll come to function definition very soon. And yeah, basically it is making reference to this function here. All right, so let's talk a little about the main, and then we come back to why structuring C is very, very important. All right, so the main function, let's just look at what we have over here and then deduce what really the main function does. So before you put in your main, you would have to indicate your return type, and then it is always int, right? As you can see over here, when the return value of the int is 0, then it means whatever you did was successful. But if you have any other number, then that might be an error or what have you. Now for this basic int, we have main function we have over here. We put in no parameter, right? Same as this. We have no parameter. But then the main actually takes 2 parameters. And in this video, I'm not going to talk about it, right? Then it is the entry point of your C program, right? So the operating system starts running this by invoking the main function, right? All program execution begins from this point. Okay, so it is the first function to be called and then the last to also return. And as we already know, its return type is an int. All right, yes. So basically, that is just that. And our last part is our function definitions. So we start with our include, our prototypes. And if you are not able to put your function in your main and you want to write a very nice code, for instance, this we have over here, we just put hello world straight away in our main. But over here, we just put greet in here. And greet has already been what declared in the function prototype. So main function has called for what greet, and greet from the prototype is let me say a function that is callable, right? So if we can call it, then what does it do for us? That is where you have to define the function to tell us what it does. So that's where function definition comes in. So the return type of the function, the name of the function, then you define the function. And we are always to note this curly braces we have over here. All right. So this curly braces, it has an open and then closing tag as well. So basically, this is the basic structure of a C programming. All right. And properly structuring a C program is crucial for readability and then maintainability. Right? If you're able to write things in a logical manner, it makes it easier for you to even edit your code and then understand them as well. And you can easily be able to share your codes to people. For instance, as you have your include section here, someone can, your header files here, someone can also come and add a function prototype, then come back here and then edit your code easily. All right. A well-structured program follows conventions and guidelines that promotes clarity and then consistency. Okay. So, that's how far I would get for this introductory video. And then you should know that understanding the basic structure of a C program and the importance of proper structuring is essential for writing clean and maintainable code, right? And then by using headers, prototypes, and then organizing your code effectively, you set yourself for success in programming language. Well, in the next video, we'll explore variables, data types, and then constants in C programming. Now, I advise you to stay tuned and have a happy coding. If this video was helpful, kindly click on the subscribe button for more of these videos. Thank you very much and have a nice day.